Hi guys, I've been padding up my tea bags. What do you mean by padding up your tea bags? Well, I've been adding wadding and doing a lot of hand stitching and turning them into little squishies. I hope to use them as a form of embellishment in some of my journals. But I thought it was really cool just to do some hand stitching, just do it slowly in my own little way. And I've done little stitches over the stamped here of this butterfly, which you may or may not see depending on how well the lighting is, but you'll certainly see the little cross stitches that I've done here, and I've also done some quilting around the outer edge. That's what it looks like on the back of the tea bag. Let's just share with you this very simple process. Now, this particular butterfly was my very first one, and I've just got the clear tea bag with the print on and nothing underneath the tea bag. It goes straight to the wadding. I then thought, oh, what if I use some of those round punches of old paper that I'd done the other day, and if I insert that and a little bit of wadding, how does that look? So that gives it just an extra little bit more substance behind it, having the written text. So this wonderful dragonfly is slightly different. It's got more stitching along its wings and down its outer edge, and that just gives it a little bit more definition. So that's two ways of dealing with this, and we've just got some other little bits and pieces. I've just got this little one here which I've stamped, "You make my heart flutter," and I've just taken some stamps from my mind's eye and just decorated accordingly. This isn't my best piece of work because I've just caught the outer edge. I don't have a lot of wadding. Yet again, the wadding that I'm using here is actually some offcuts of a form from Violin, dare I say it, they sell, and it could be ironed on like padding because it's actually got some little pop dots, and as you can see I'm running out, but there's no reason why you can't use loose wadding and just pad out your tea bag, but this happens to be a lot more convenient because obviously it hasn't got too much depth and it's all equal. So let's move these to one side. I've got one ready to go. You'll notice that again I've stamped and I've taken my white gel pen just to highlight some of the areas on the butterfly. With a round tea bag, it's been used, dried and then slit open, and what I've done, I've just worked my thumb in and around, and as you can see they don't necessarily separate perfectly. Some leaves a little bit of extra residue on one side of the tea bag, but that's not a problem, we can work with it. So once it is separated, what I've done, to make life a little bit more convenient and because I'm using scraps, I've taken one round which is less than 2 inches in diameter because that fits nicely inside the round tea bag, taken a glue stick and just glued some of my wadding, just attached the wadding, and because I'm definitely using scraps now, into the centre. And then I've got a template, and then I've just cut round, and this is, I mean, it was perfect when I actually had a full sheet, and then I'd be inclined just to layer this up with the odd segments of wadding, and then I'll just keep cutting. In an ideal world I wouldn't be giving you this tutorial if I didn't have just a full sheet to go with, but I don't, so we're just going to make do with what we've got scrap wise. So that will give us, that will suffice, so that's generally what I've done. Got this one ready to go here, as you can see, little pieces. So with our slit tea bag, we are just going to pop that in like so. I'm going to turn the text round, and then sits nice and snugly. We've got our squishy bit, the backing on. I've got this bird which I've done already just the same way. Just move all those little pieces. Red thread, needle, quite a long needle, that's what's going to work for me. And then pinching in the centre, we are just literally going to start sewing simple stitches. I'm not going to knot. What I'm going to do is sew all the way around the outer edge and then come back on myself and then take both the threads to knot up. And you can go big, you can go small. This is your time, you don't have to use red thread. I just happen to be using it in a lot of my work just recently. You can use embroidery silks rather than just cotton. But I'm just using what I've got to hand in my stash. There's nothing to say that you don't glue this shut. Nothing to say you don't take a machine, a sewing machine, and pop it through a sewing machine. If you do, just bear in mind that the loose tea is not going to be good for your inner workings of your sewing machine. That's the advantage of using hand stitching. You're not going to damage anything electric, and so that would be something that this is definitely going to take advantage of, because that is when I go bashing my stuff through my sewing machine. I've just got to be aware that I'm treating it rather roughly. And you can see we're just going round the outer edge, just going to do 2 more stitches, only purely because there is a rip in this tea bag and I just want to catch it down before I go and sew a little bit further into the centre, because the quilting doesn't start until we get into that wadding. Right, and now I might want to do some extra little stitches, and this is purely for demonstration purposes. I would have just gone all the way around, as I said, and knotted, but I'm just going to jump in the centre because I'm going to add some little stitch highlights around this bird, just as a finishing touch. And as you can see, this is really quite a simple little method. But now we've got a few stitches around the outside, a few stitches on the centre of this bird, and I'd be inclined to go all the way around with my sewing and highlight the bird. And this one happens to be quite a busy stamp. I may even put a few little stitches on some of these leaves. But hopefully, guys, that was a very quick and helpful tutorial on how I'm doing my little squishy tea bags. Catch up with you soon. Bye bye.